I know for a lot of business owners, they tend to run from fire to fire, task to task. But you've said, and I've seen this, that taking time to think about your business, I think Warren Buffett, right? He reads like 6 hours a day or something like that and thinks about it, is the most important thing that you can do. What advice or how would you tell someone who is in that mode of the craziness of the business to truly step back and schedule that time to think about the business? And then, and I know there's a ton in the book, so maybe that's the easiest way, but just any advice you have around like what to think about and what type of questions you should be asking.
So, thinking time is a skill that I learned 35 years ago from probably the smartest businessman I've ever met. Um, he set aside time to think on a regular basis, and the key to an effective thinking time is to start with a really good question. So you can't start with a blank piece of paper and say, I'm going to think. If you do that, you'll wind up taking a nap. What you want is a very powerful question. And the question might be something like, how would I run my business if 100% of my future growth was by referral only? That's a hell of a question.
Yep.
A question might be, how would I need to run my business so that customers would say I'd have to be crazy to go someplace else? A question might be, who do I need on my team? What outcomes do they need to produce in order for me to get to my target at December 31st, 2023, whatever it is?
Yeah.
It's getting a meaty question, and then once you have the question on paper with a pen, not on the computer. The computer doesn't work because there's too many distractions. So you got to get a piece of paper, a pen. It's old school. You shut the door, you turn off the machines, the all the things that could beep. You literally ask Siri to set an alarm for 45 minutes, and then you sit quietly without moving and you write, and there's always an empty dot on the page. So I'm going to write a possibility, and then I'm going to put an empty dot, and that tells my brain there must be at least one more thing. My thinking time is usually 45 minutes. The alarm goes off at the end of 45 minutes. I look at what I've written. I get rid of the bad ideas. I find the one or two that might deserve future thinking time or might deserve, maybe it's time to execute. And now it's on my calendar. So the key, I think, for all of us as leaders is to deal in majors and minors. All of my board members deal in majors and minors. For a quarter, for the coming quarter, our board members get to have 1 or 2 majors and 2 to 3 minors. These are things they've elevated off of their to-do list, and it's now going to get calendar time. So the difference between a to-do list and a priority is that a priority shows up on your calendar. Otherwise, it's going to stay on your to-do list. So it turns out the key to be an effective CEO is managing and controlling what's on your calendar. And most of the people that are racing from fire to fire, crisis du jour, whack-a-mole, dumpster fires everywhere. Shoot, there's so many fires. Most people have so many fires they can't figure out who's got the matches, right? Who's lighting all these fires? How's this even happening? So That can only happen to somebody who's in an operator mode and they're not doing their job as a CEO. Because if you're doing your job as a CEO, yeah, there's going to be a fire here and there, but it's not fire after fire, whack-a-mole all day long. It's planning and thinking and driving results as opposed to being driven by them. And so operators tend to be highly reactionary, and as a result, get to the end of the day and they've been busy but not productive.
Yep.
And the reason they're not productive is because they're not in control of their calendar.